We are recording. All right, so let's talk about threat intelligence. And so here, Stix, threat intelligence. There are two things that go together, Stix and taxi. Stix is a structured language for cyber threat intelligence, which is information about attackers and techniques they might use to attack you. And taxi is a transport protocol to send that information over a network. So first, we're going to talk about Stix. And so if you go here, you can see an example Stix file. It is just an XML, or excuse me, it's a JSON file. So this just has a structured bunch of data. And you see here a malicious site hosting a downloader is here. And it has a URL shown here. And it has a time period when this was measured and a description of it. So that's an indicator, something you could look for to detect that somebody is connecting to a malicious site. Here's a piece of malware, a backdoor that attempts to download files with some information about it, telling you which phase of the Mandiant attack lifecycle model it does, establishing a foothold. And here's the relationship between those two things. So that's what this does. It defines the various security-related objects and various relationships between them. And this is clearly a machine-readable form of it, but you can view it in a visualizer, which is really nice. So in the visualizer, you can feed it a JSON file from any threat intelligence feed, and it will present it in a friendly way. And here it is. Here are those two objects. There's an indicator and some malware. And the indicator is malicious site hosting downloader, and you can zoom in and see it, malicious site hosting downloader. These are draggable. You can move them around to rearrange them. And if you click on one of them, here it tells you all the details about the malware. It's just presenting the same information as that JSON file, but it's in a friendlier format. And here's the information about the malicious site hosting the downloader. There's the URL, and there's other information. So this Stix viewer is pretty fun, and you can use it to look at more interesting things, such as this one. Okay, here's one a little more complicated. I've got Adversary Bravo. You can click on that and find out about them. There's someone that uses phishing attacks, spy, and criminal. They use the Poison Ivy malware, which was a XP rootkit, I think. They use phishing as a technique, an attack pattern, it appears as, and they use, this is their identity. So there's a threat actor, and they have an identity, which will be information they have about them. They don't know much about them. So again, that's a slightly more complicated bit of threat information presented here. And then we can go for the real fun one, which is the original one I mentioned before, APT1. This was the original Mandiant report analyzing the attack on Google, the Chinese government attacking Google, Chinese military. And it was a complicated attack. There you go. That in all its glory is all the information about the attack. Many threat actors, many indicators, many pieces of malware, many tools. So here, for example, is a tool called MapIGet that does some kind of information gathering to steal email. Here's a attack pattern called Maintain Presence that shows how they ensure continued long-term control, and so on. And you can even find the people that did this, their code names, and sometimes even their real names. The threat actors are here in orange. So here, for example, is something called DOTA. One of these is the Communist Party of China. There it is, the Communist Party of China, telling you what they're doing here. And anyway, there are a few flags to find in these. This is a fun tool to play with. So you might want to look at that. And I'm going to make a separate video for the next topic.